Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel, bro. I lift up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will to be edifying. It says the coming AI crime wave is already underway. Here's how you can, it says, here's how you can protect yourself, which is basically a news clip from CBN, which we know CBN is big in fear-mongering. But, you know, we've been speaking on this for some time, you know, the brothers, myself, the apostles, about how deep fakes, AI, can be used to demonize certain characters or groups of people, to lump them into this particular system, deeming them unsavory for human populace, meaning that terrorism, or DT, as we understand that this truth is coming out in full force, Esau is looking at ways on how to destabilize this truth by demonizing the men of the Lord. And with all this AI crime stuff taking place, and, you know, cyber thefts and cyber attacks and all this other stuff, we can see how Esau can possibly use this and weaponize it, which AI has already been weaponized. Okay, there's a couple of videos I've seen over the last couple of days I wanted to speak on, where basically AI was not obeying human commands. And in many ways, I feel like that's kind of spearheaded, because for the simple fact, AI is programmed by men, right? Man programs, and they have particular security parameters that they can control in order for this thing to obtain this data. Well, I don't believe Esau is as stupid to allow this thing to be ever learning without any way to shut it down. All right, so I believe that there's how can I say it? I believe that there's a service set up that's designed to go haywire, but they can still have a control on it, because ultimately this man makes a weapon out of everything, man. You know, everything is weaponized under Esau's dominion. As the scriptures say, he will rule with the sword. Okay, so everything is weaponized against you. The food, the weather, the vehicles you drive, your bed, your cell phones, your women, your children, everything is weaponized against us here, because Esau is a weapon. Okay, going back to Cain and Tubal Cain, you know, which was a great artificer, which would deal with metals and stillery and so forth. You can tell that this is the same devil ruling today. All right, so I'm gonna play a couple of minutes of this video, get a couple of precepts, and it's gonna be that. So here we go.
More and more people are getting scammed online.
Recently, my grandpa just got scammed out of like his whole life savings.
Just last week, I spoke to somebody who really got scammed.
My wife got victimized in an internet fraud.
AI-enabled crimes are up 456% since last year. Email phishing attacks, identity theft, ransomware attacks, financial scams, and deep...
And all this shit is just designed to bring an order out of chaos, because with this new technology on the rise, what they're trying to do is throw everybody off, so therefore they can lump everybody under this one system, because we spoke that the B system would be implemented under national security operations, man. And anybody that don't comply to those mandates or orders, basically you're going to have the law of draconianism that's going to come upon you, all right? Which...
Child pornography are all becoming more sophisticated and prevalent. Artificial intelligence has become the tool of choice for online criminals because it is erasing the line between the real and the fake. Google's newly announced video generator is about to flood the internet with AI-created clips that have the look of expensive films.
None of us is real. We're here because someone decided to write a prompt. We all hate him for it.
AI can take this. Artificial intelligence will supercharge online criminal activity and turn it into this deepfake of me saying whatever someone programs my image to say, and it doesn't have to be true.
I've never seen anything move faster in my lifetime than AI. Not the internet, not crypto, not anything else. And I mean, what we're doing is we're measuring this technology in days.
Former federal prosecutor Ari Redbord is the global head of policy at TRM Labs.
AI has removed the human bottleneck from scams, from cybercrime, and from other types of illicit activity.
America's adversaries are said to be using AI to influence U.S. politics and to steal.
We've seen North Korea. They just stole $1.5 billion in one day to use for weapons proliferation and other destabilizing activity.
Every major American adversary is experimenting with AI.
Leah Siskin is an AI expert at the Foundation for Defensive Democracies.
At the start, the outbreak of the war between Ukraine and Russia was Russia creating deepfakes of Ukrainian President Zelensky surrendering.
It's not very hard to tell that this is a deep fake because at times the voice and facial movements seem unnatural.
However, online criminals are already working to fix these kinds of imperfections.
So what do you think when they try to roll on the prophets and they have these videos of us doing something that's not? Now you have an AI detector, but the average world is dumb enough to believe it because like we already are a thorn in the side of these people. So anything to demonize us and to blame us for what's happening in the world, they're gonna do it. All right, this is why we tell you, brothers, man, we're living in some dangerous times, man, and really to be circumspect. You know, the internet, honestly speaking, I want to get away from this thing. Like this phone, this internet, I don't even want to deal with it anymore, man. But, you know, we have to do what we got to do to get these shows out. But this thing is, it's going to get real. And they showed you that in the movie Minority Report. They showed you iRobot. They showed you Terminator, The Matrix with Skynet. You know, they showed you how there was a war between man and machine. You know, and I speculate through the spirit that AI is going to play a big factor in this third world war too, because of the algorithms and, you know, the codes and so forth. Like, you know, that's all computer operated now. All right. So this is the book of Psalm 17. And I'm going to start at verses 8. It says, keep me as the apple of thy eye and hide me under the shadow of thy wings. We need shielding from this shit, man. All right. Because like I mentioned earlier, when they come gunning for the men of the Lord, they're going to throw the whole kitchen sink at us. All right, they're going to try to persecute us and anybody that speak out against this system because we're deemed a national security threat to Esau and he's the threat to the entire world. It says, from the wicked that oppress me, from the deadly enemies that can pass me about. It says they are enclosed in their own fat and their mouths speak proudly. Yeah, because I was reading a comment and the lady was like, I was just reading on the comment board and she made a good point. I don't know if it was a she, but I just speculated. But it says this is much worse than what people think. It says we've been warned for the last 40 years about the essential dangers of artificial intelligence, and we're arrogant enough to think that we can take the cat out the bag, play with it, feed it, and then put it back. Yeah, I mean that's a real state. You know, that's a real statement. You know, because Esau, he likes to take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and provoke it. Well, in this case, you're going to provoke the wrong bull, and you're going to be through, man. All right, and that bull you provoking is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai because the Lord sees you. Okay, you in the scriptures say that it's roughly paraphrasing how the Lord has hid his face, how the Lord doesn't see. The Most High isn't dead. The scripture said that the Most High doesn't get weary or tired. He's very aware of what you're doing. You know, but it says like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Yeah, and they showed you that on that movie. They cloned Tyrone. They literally had operating bases and think tank facilities right underneath the hood. You know, they was able to do these pop-ups in people's homes through these little maneuverable elevators, and they were able to operate underground without nobody noticing them. Whole time in Jake's stuff. You know, we're being watched closely as Israelites. Don't think we're not. The Scopeo, why you think all the surveillance is watching us? Because they're looking for the men of the Lord to become activated. You know, and it says here, they have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bow into the earth. Yeah, that's those satellites, man. You know, those surveillance cameras and satellites and ultimately his technology. It says like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Yeah, you know, because they're all around us and you don't even see them. Okay, you got all types of NSA, FBI, CIA agents literally in your neighborhoods. You can't even point them out of a lineup because they live as regular civilians. But the whole time they're gathering data on our people and sending it back to the think tank to figure out how to trap Jake up in his words, man. You know? So peep this. This is a deep fake, but it look real. And if you don't have an eye to catch these things, then you will be deceived by it.
Says cybersecurity expert Neil O'Farrell.
So if you're looking for those as a way to tell the difference between deepfake and real, you're probably setting a trap for yourself, because the bad guys know those are the giveaways. So they're working very, very hard on fixing those telltales.
How can you protect yourself from these scammers? O'Farrell says if you receive a call from a friend or family member claiming to be in trouble and requesting money or personal information, you need to ask questions.
Where are you? What jurisdiction are you in? Could I speak to an arresting officer? Could you hold the phone up, turn on the video, and let me see? I want you, like proof of life. Show me that it is you, and you are where you say you are.
Or choose a unique family code word that's not been sent through the internet and ask a friend or family member to say it.
Dad, I got into some trouble and I need some money. I need you to go buy a $100 Visa gift card and read me the numbers on the back. Sure. What's the password? Armani?
I'm not continuing this conversation.
See, they get sophisticated with that, but it's all prophesied in the scriptures. All right. It says, "Arise, O Lord, and disappoint him. Cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword." Yeah. And this is part of Esau's sword, his deception. All right. Daniel 12, and I'm going to start at verses 4. It says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end." It says, "Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge should be increased." Yeah. The AI stuff. You know, the war versus machines, Skynet. Like, I was looking this up. It says dystopian surveillance becomes a reality in Texas. All right. And it says, in a chilling development that echoes the warnings of privacy advocates, Texas has become a stark example of surveillance technology being used to encroach on personal freedoms. And our freedoms have been taken away gradually ever since 2001. It says automated license plate readers, which is ALPRs, which capture vehicle license plate data to track movements, have been employed by law enforcement in a way that has raised alarm bells about reproductive rights and privacy. And I think a lot of that got something to do with that Real ID. I think if you opt into the Real ID, I believe that you opted to give your privacy away, which we don't have no privacy anyway, but they don't just shit they don't tell you. It says this technology often hidden in objects like traffic cones logs the movement of every driver without their consent, creating a detailed picture of their lives when combined with other surveillance data. So they're getting a dossier on us. Okay, it says, according to The Guardian, the issues came to light when a Texas police officer used Flock, a prominent ALPR technology provider, to conduct a nationwide search across over 83,000 cameras to locate a woman who had undergone an abortion. It says this incident, reported by Full 4 Media, underscores fears that surveillance tools could be weaponized to enforce restrictive laws, particularly like in states like Texas, where abortion is most likely entirely illegal except in life-threatening cases. It says the officer's search extended to states like Washington and Illinois, where the 187 remains legal, highlighting the far-reaching capabilities of this technology. So yeah, they are basically, things are getting draconian, okay, as it tells us in Revelation 13 in verses 11. And it says, and behold, another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. All right. See, lamb represents docility and innocence. A dragon is fierce. All right. He came up as a lamb, but now Trump is taking away people's freedoms, rights, taking away programs. He's speaking as a dragon right now. All right. And you go into the Athens lawgiver by the name of Draconian. He was known for imposing strict punishments on smaller cases, man, on small fines. And we're coming back to that as we switch over from this current world to modern day dystopia, which would deal with surveillance. This is going to be the result of it. Okay. Locking you up and taking away your freedoms and demonizing you, man. All right. And we've been warning the world of this for some time. So we're seeing it play out. I'll get one more precept and I'll end it. This is the book of Revelation 20. And I'm going to start at verses 3. And it says, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed for a little season. Yeah. Okay, he deceived the nations, Esau. All right. And Satan is talking about the so-called white man. I ain't talking about the spiritual demon Satan. Verses 7. It says, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan should be loosed out of his prison and should go out to deceive the nations. This is what he's doing through his philosophies, which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. It says, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about and the beloved city, and fire came down from Yahweh out of heaven and devoured them. All right, and that devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they should be tormented day and night forever and ever. All right, and that's not talking about actual hell, you see. But anyway, yeah, man, we're living in crazy times, man. So with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, who will you edify to the next lesson. Shalom.
Until you give me the code word.
What worries experts is how artificial intelligence learns, and that AI crime is headed toward what's called its mature phase.
So that's when, AI really completely removes the human bottleneck and is essentially doing the scam activity, doing the cyber attacks in a completely automated way.
Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt recently issued an ominous warning about AI accelerating toward artificial superintelligence.
This foundation is being locked in, and we're not going to stop it. Because remember, the computers are now doing self-improvement. They're learning how to plan, and they don't have to listen to us anymore. And this is the theory that there will be computers that are smarter than the sum of humans.
That means law enforcement and governments will need to utilize AI tools now to fight this crime wave, which experts say could quickly become an epidemic.
Wow. All right. Well, Dale is with us now for more on this subject. I hope it's Dale. Dale, I hope it's you. We didn't come up with a password ahead of time.
You'll have to trust me. I don't have proof of life.
We will trust you. How confident are you that law enforcement can handle this AI crime wave?
In the near term, I'm not confident at all. We just learned this week that OpenAI's one of their models, their Chat GPT models they're experimenting with, refused an instruction to shut down and then sabotaged the shutdown mechanism. So this is what we're dealing with. AI is not only a tool for crime, it's faster than an army of criminals. It's more efficient and it learns. And so when you throw roadblocks in front of it, it problem solves until it can find a way around it. I reached a point in my interviews where I asked experts, is this going to render the internet useless? Because it will be so flooded with deepfakes and fake information and fake scandals. And they said, no, but we're going to have to find a way of verifying information.
In a story, your report had so much information. There was a lot to handle. One line caught my ear quickly, and you moved past it. But how did the North Koreans steal $1.5 billion?
They looted a cryptocurrency exchange. They broke